I want to welcome you guys to this particular video, and I would love to thank everyone who have been following this bootcamp from the start up to this point. We have gotten to the point where we'll be doing more of practicals, right? We'll be doing more of practicals, so I'll use every single thing I've taught you guys to just see how I can couple all of them together. So this, starting from these videos and subsequent videos I'll be posting, to be more of live trades I've taken or setups that meet to all of our checklist before getting entries. So I'll tend to want to explain them to you guys on these subsequent videos. Please and please, like I said before, it's not by what I teach you guys that you become profitable. It's what you do with what I teach you that will make you profitable. You need to sit with it, practice it, to create a new pathway in your brain to help you have an understanding for yourself, right? You need to still sit down with this content, watch it again and again. So from this content onward, from this one to the subsequent ones we'll be posting, I'll just be saying things about how I analyze certain setups and trades, so you can just learn from each of the content. So on this particular video, we want to dive into something very interesting, right? Like I told you guys before, now I said we'll be making use of X25 to explain every single thing. So if you remember when we started these videos, I think we were at this was the point where we were at, if I remember this point, yeah, that was where we were at when this market broke out and we tested on the junction. That was where we were at. And in our previous video I said something about breakout on test, right? So now I'll be showing you guys how to make use of every single thing I've taught you guys by understanding what your trends are, by making use of trend lines, by making use of zones, by making use of candlesticks to actually get entry. So I'll just give you guys a practical way and we'll go through it. So for this market that for this market I gave this uptrend move, we'll just make use of all this uptrend move to this point, to this particular high here, to this particular high that the market got to here. We'll just make use of the trend, right? Now I would want to show you guys something first. Whenever I want to analyze the market, right, I'll just whatever I'm showing you guys here, this is, you can still make use of it for whichever pair you want to trade, whichever synthetic pair, even cryptocurrencies, even forex currency pairs. You can actually make use of this same system, because like I told you guys, if it's for the technical know-how, you can use this for any other pair. Just make sure you understand the fundamentals and know when news are coming out and know the timing, in the sense that session opening and closing, so you actually know when to make it of it. That's if you are trading for currency pair. But now what are you to do whenever you open a chart? The first thing you're supposed to be focused on is to know what the trend is. Now if you remember, before when we started this, I remember I drew something like this line and then this other one, trying to understand where the market was going to. I remember I told you guys, if you want to find out, I drew something like this one certain time for you guys. For instance, okay, this is like maybe a downtrend, and then this, and then we saw the market going down like this, coming down, going higher lows, lower lows, higher lows, lower lows, higher lows, lower lows. So I said, if you want to now know if this market is about maybe changing its movement, it will first of all give you a reversal pattern, be it maybe double bottom, be it maybe head and shoulder or inverse head and shoulder, whichever case may be, and then the market will move, come back to the neckline, and then continue going up, right? So this, now the market ended up giving us what we call inverse head and shoulder here, and then the market went to this point and then it broke out and we tested on the neckline, and then it continued going up. Now this point here where the market broke this previous structure, I told you guys that you can call it change of character, right? But if you want to now validate that, okay, this market has truly changed its trend, the market does not need to just break this change character here. You need to see it break at least two of these internal structures, this, right? The moment it breaks this second one, then I'll wait for the pullback and then I'll now look for an entry. I will now look for an entry after it have broken this point from this next swing low. I will now start looking for entry from this junction here, from this other one, the bounce that will bring it here. I will now start looking for entry here, because the moment I've seen like the break of this first and this second, I can then say this trend has changed. Right, just take note of that. Now, what is the first thing you have to do? Let me take this length out. What is the first thing? You first of all know what the trend is. So if you notice for this part, this whole part, this market was going up with what I just explained. Now if you notice, this market was forming, let me draw this, our trend line, this one we drew from here, and then this. Now if you notice, this market was forming lower high, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. It will not break this point, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. All of a sudden the market changed character at this point, this low here, changed character at this low, and then broke this second low here, and then went up to bounce, and then continue going back up, right? So we know from this point already that this market has changed structure. Did it give us a reversal pattern? Let's check. So if you want to check from here, maybe it might not be that clear, so let's see if 8 hours will give us what we wanted. Okay, yeah, perfect. So here you can see it clearly. You notice here, apart from this breakout and retest here that happened there, let's just take this thing out, and then I just wanted to show you guys the structure that formed inside. So if you notice, with what I just explained for you guys, there was lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. It came here, did not break, go below, and then it broke this point, bounced back on the neckline, came back, bounced, and then told you guys subsequently. So if you notice for this point, this thing should go back. Notice for this point here, the market came back to this neckline. Right, if you look at it closely, you'll notice that the market came back to this neckline and gave us a inverse head and shoulder that I just showed you guys now, right? So from this junction, we already know that this market is about to change its trend. So the moment the market comes to this point, broke here, retested for the on the neckline, then you can now look for entries going up. Once it retests again, you can look for entry going up, and then subsequently as the market is going to the upward direction. So we all agree from this junction that this market from here has given us reversal pattern. So the market, so therefore, is trying to go to the other direction. So the same way you saw this, if the market wants to start coming down, we either see this inverse head and shoulder, or we'll see a double bottom or a double top, or a triple top or triple bottom, whichever of the reversal pattern I taught you guys from the other video. If you have not watched it, you can go back to check for chart patterns, and then you can then understand it. Whichever of them, it will form a reversal chart pattern before moving to the other direction. Let's see for here, for this point, the market was trying to come back down. We saw that the market gave us a double top here, right? Let's see when there was after a major push, and then the market trying to come back down. So let's see from here, this market was going up all the way from down here up till this point before the market decided to turn. So but before it turned, it gave us this internal one first gave us like head and shoulder, and then for this external one, it now gave us what we call double top before it started going to the other direction. So there will always be a reversal chart pattern before a trend will change, right? There would always be a reversal chart pattern before a trend will end up changing. So for here, we know you guys will agree with me that okay, give us a reversal chart pattern. So now that's by the way, we have seen that the reversal chart pattern have happened there. So we knew after the market retested it and then from this swing, we knew that okay, from this swing here we can start to look for entries for a buy, trying to take it up to this swing high here, right? Now what then, after you have gotten that information, you've finalized that this trend is an uptrend from this junction. We have agreed. You guys saw what I did, right? You saw everything I did. I tried to explain it how I knew that okay, this market is about to go to this particular direction. Now first thing you have to do when you come to your chart, go to your daily, right? Since we have agreed that we have seen that this market from this junction have started going up, now what are we supposed to do? mark your zones. If you remember how I taught you guys how to mark your zones, connect where you are seeing support or resistance point, either support or support on resistance. Mark it. What you are seeing should be what you are marking. Don't try to force or try to make it fit in, try to drag it and forth. No. What you are seeing, how simple it is, like how it's looking. I saw one point here, I saw another point here, I saw one point here, I saw one point here, I saw here. So here, if you notice, I made this zone very slim. I did not force it to try to make it big, right? I just make it as small as this, just to make sure it's covered this area, covered touch here, touch and this point, and then this other point. Before the market even got to this point, I marked something like this, right? So for some persons, they might say they are marking down to this point. Is still fine, so long there's a touch here. At least there should be at least 3 touches, or the where support on resistance, like you should at least have reasonable touches on it, at least more than 3, right? So I'll look for the next one, which is up. So please, if you watch this video and you're trying to understand it, and maybe you don't understand it at first, when you watch it at first, please try to watch it again and again and again until you get what this thing is saying, right? When you get it, you have gotten it for life. Is in your head and you understand what it is. So watch how I'm marking these zones without stress, right? I'm just looking for where support on resistance. If you don't understand what support on resistance means, go and check those early videos I made, right? You check and then you see them and you can implement it, right? Look for the next point. You are seeing this. Notice how I'm marking, I'm dragging and marking the points. Let me see, mark this point here, this one. I'm seeing a touch here, here. So let me see. I'm seeing one here. Clone. I'm seeing here. I will just use this and describe points I'm seeing. So you know, for the other ones, you can just know what I mean, right? So I'm seeing one here. I'm seeing this. Okay, here there was one here. And then before this one now bounced here. So okay, there's another one here, and then there's another one here. Yeah, so this one have multiple touches, so it's a good zone, it's a strong one. And now, by the way, before I forget, right, I told you guys that whenever I want to get I'm marking these zones, right? I'm getting there, but I think I'll still explain it to you guys, right? Let me just say it, right, before I forget it. Now, when you see us marking zones like this, or when you see me marking zones, now I'm trying to teach you guys a simple model to use to get entries on trades. Now, these zones I'm marking, by the way, I'm not making use of these zones immediately market get there, I'll just buy or sell. No. If you do that, brotherly, you would be wrecked. The market will so deal with you. So there's a format. That's why I said you guys watch this till the end and make it of this information sequentially. Just follow me as I take you guys to the promised land of getting trades, getting entries. So now, after marking this point, you check. Just make sure you are seeing value point. Don't forget, our major aim is to take it first to this high and then to this overall, because this is like for like our swing like this. If you mark it like this, right? So the moment the market breaks to this other point, we know, okay, we are anticipating to get to this next point and then this point, because this is like the swing high. Now, take note how I'm marking it. So I told you guys, when you want to mark zones, where support on resistance, and where support on resistance and where resistance meet, it's still a zone. If you remember, I said that to you guys. So after marking all these points, notice how I marked this. I did not first make that point very thick. I did not try to make this very fat to no. I just see how it's simple. Okay, there's one other point here. All right. So after marking this, see how plain and simple it is. I did not force anything here. Okay, there's another point here. Now, after marking this things correctly like this, right? After marking it correctly like this, now we are going down to what? We'll go down to 1 hour. That is where we'll now be looking for entries. From your 1 hour, that's where you're looking for entries, and that's where it gets interesting. Now, don't forget what I told you guys. Then coming down to 1 hour. Now I'll start from this point. I need to take all these things out. So okay, it's in the past already. So if you remember, we said we are making use of, it was from this point this market started changing here, that we know we now start looking for entry, because it broke this high, broke this other high, first high, and then this second high. So from this second high, the push back from this second high is when we now know that, okay, truly this market is trying to change the trend, the direction. So from here, that's where we now start looking for entry. Let me just use a box too, so that we are going to 1 hour. Please pay attention. This thing is very simple. What I'm about to show you guys is like, it's very simple. It's one of the simplest model of getting entries, right? One of the simplest model, and it's very powerful, right? Because market moves sequentially. So from this point, knowing fully well, don't forget we have gotten the information that this market has started going up from this direction. Don't forget. If you don't get what I'm saying here, you can go back and watch what I said before now, right? So the moment you notice that your market is coming to any zone, maybe breaking it and trying to pull back to tap on that zone, what should now come to your head next is to look for a reversal chart pattern. Once you have seen the reversal chart pattern, you now wait for the market to break the neckline and retest. What is the neckline? Let me draw 2 reversal chart pattern. Now, since we are looking for uptrend, we are concerned about either double bottom or inverse head and shoulder. Now, for double bottom, is something like this. Please watch this video again and again and again and practice it. And then a bounce here, and then a push. This is for double bottom market forming something like this. Our entry would always be when the market comes to bounce back on the neckline. Then this is because we are looking for buys on this market. That's why I'm using this. If it's for sale, we are using the opposite of it. Then now, for the head and shoulder, for the inverse head and shoulder, since we are looking for a buy, goes up, comes back to this point, goes up, bounce. Like I told you guys, the main guy in all the chart patterns is the breakout and retest. All of them will need to break out and retest if you want to make use of them. So now this is the 2, since we are looking for a buy move, this is the 2 reversal chart patterns we are looking for on any zone, on any of the zone, here on 1 hour, on any of the zones. These zones we have marked. You guys saw how we marked the zone before we came back to 1 hour. You can practice this repeatedly on different pairs. When you are seeing, if you are seeing a good structural movement, you can use it there, right? So for this is the model of entry I'm giving you guys. This is the system in which you guys can make use of to get an entry. At the end of maybe this video, when we have gone through all the examples or all the market that played out, I will then give you guys like a checklist. I'll write them out so you guys can just write it out on your jotter. As you are trading and you're analyzing the market, you just make sure you are making use of those checklists to see if you are seeing if it's playing out, if all the things on your checklist is marked well and you have checked it and is marked, then you can then enter a trade. If it's not complete, then just allow it, don't trade it, just allow the market to do its thing, right? So with that being said, let's now check what chart pattern are we seeing on this place, on this market. You can call this double bottom if you want, but you can say, okay, this low is not the same level. You say this one is not the same level with this other one, so I can mark this whole. You can call this double bottom, you can call it double, you can call it inverse head and shoulder, because I'm seeing this move here. Notice it might not be, like I told you guys, it will not be perfect like the textbook that is having perfect this and that. Sometimes it will just be to be imperfect, but yours is just to be able to perceive it. It will not always be that perfect how I drew it out, right? So for this one, see the shoulder, the head, and then the second shoulder, the first shoulder, second shoulder, see the head. So we are always waiting for what? A pullback. If you pull back, we are getting entry. Now take note, whenever you are trying to get a pullback to get an entry, if you want to enter, you will not just immediately turning and pulling back. You will not place your, no, you will wait for the next bullish candle. Don't forget, I told you guys this is how I love my chart to be. These black candles are the red candles. Then this gold candles you're seeing, this gold, I don't know what the color you might call this, but this other one that is gold, like gold color. The moment it forms a bullish candle first, the next candle that breaks with the body above the bullish candle should be where you are to get your entry. So for this market, take note, I'm not entering after this bullish start to form. No, I'm not entering after this. I'll wait for this to close. But since this one did not close with a body above this week here, since it did not close with a body above this week, I'll wait. Which one closed above this with a weak body? This. Then the moment that one is forming, is done forming, I'll place my entry here. Stop loss always at the next low, reasonable low here. Reasonable low, or you can make use of this overall low if you want, or below this point, use fine if you want to be more conservative, but just look for a reasonable low, place it. And then, like I told you guys about breakout and retest, right? You can still make use of, there are two ways. You can use the neckline, or you make use of breakout and retest. What do I mean? You drag from this internal swing high here, this swing high, down to this point, and then where you are seeing the market doing a breakout and a retest, you enter. But take note, whichever of them you want to use, make sure if it's the neckline is actually, it works perfectly well, you can stick to it, right? But for all, I might be using this opposing trend line and the neckline for a test. Whichever of them you want to use is still fine. Now, where would be your TP? Your TP would always be this swing high. But if this swing high, this swing high, it's supposed to give you at least 1:2. At least 1:2. If the swing high, like this one now, the swing high is giving us 1:3. Look at it here. It's giving us what we are waiting. We're waiting $65 to get. We are waiting $21 to get 65. That's approximately 1:3. See what we are getting. This is my system. That's why it's showing me this. At least 1:2. That is, if you are waiting $10, you should be aiming to get $20 on this swing high. If this swing high is not up, if it's more than 1:2, then you can just put, like this one is more than 1:2, so but I will just use it. So this trade will end up giving me 1:3. But if it's not up to 1:3, you adjust it to make it 1:2. Right? If it's not, you should be, the minimum this swing high should be giving you should be 1:2. If it's not giving you 1:2, you can adjust it. Right? So for this one, it gave us a sweet 1:3. So this is the trade for this particular guy. That is it. That's just what you just need to do. Just this. Now, don't forget how I explained the candle you don't want to enter with. Now we'll come back to the next zone. You notice that we'll mark the zone and then we are waiting for the market to do its thing. You can still trade the sell and the buy, but you guys are trying to learn. The trend is your friend. If you gain mastery on understanding how to get entries when it's trying to sell, it's still fine. You can still make use of it, but there's no point trying to, you are not trying to prove any point to anyone. The trend is always your friend. The trend has more probability of going to your direction than against the trend. But if you have a system that works, maybe you practice and you get to the point of mastery to understand when it's done, it's fine. But the risks might be high, but your mastery maybe might have overcome the risks. I don't know. But this should always be your approach toward the market, making use of the trend. Right? So the next zone is this point. We are seeing a good inverse head and shoulder here. Where is the neckline? And somebody will be like, is there? No. This one is the neckline. So the neckline is this high here, this high here. So I'll mark it here. And then what I just explained to you guys, you will now say, okay, let's drag this trend line like this, right? For a breakout and retest. And somebody who wants to use a breakout and retest might use this point. Maybe use this point here and then wait for the next candle that will close above this and then low here, and then he will look for this high, and he will say that the market, okay, adjust it to like 1:2, at least 1:2, and he will say the market gave him good profits using breakout and retest, which is still perfectly okay. Or if you are using the neckline, the test on the neckline, you use this point, this one here. Don't forget, I say the candle after the first bullish candle, the next one that closed where? The next one that closed above it or with the body. So you can tend to just immediately, this one forms, this one passing it, this bullish candle, you can just tend to enter. Just make use of this one that closed with the body above this guy, this first bullish candle, which is this. Please, if you don't understand this, please watch it again. So for this, 1:2 should be what we're aiming for. And the market, see, I made use of this this low here. Right, so I made use of this particular low, this guy here, and then it gave me a sweet 1:2. A sweet 1:2. I'm trying to say, okay, give us a switch one ratio 2 there, and that's fine. And the market still came back to retest on this neckline still yet. This neckline, we can still get another entry from there because that's a strong zone. So what's the model? You reach this one that closed above here, you click here, look for the next reasonable low. You can make use of this low, right? Since it's the previous one, you can which is still very okay. So let's say we made use of this particular guy here, and then one ratio 2 at least. So we are good here, this market here. So what is it, where the next zone the market came to? The market came to this particular guy here. Okay. The market came to this particular guy here. So you might see how we are looking for it. It's looking as if it's easy. Yeah, it's easy actually. I just make sure you practice it. Not all trades might go well your direction. Sometimes it might not go to your direction. It's fine. Don't kill yourself that you made a mistake. Just learn from it and move. That's the best way to learn. That's the fastest way you can learn actually. So this here, like I told you guys, it might not always be perfectly showing. So if you go on 30 minutes, you see this clearly. This is the shoulder, the head, and then the next shoulder. Where are you to get an entry? From the neckline, which is this high, right? So what did I tell you guys to get an entry from? Don't forget here the swing high. How will you get an entry? After this first bullish, the next one that closes above it, that's where you will get your entry. You can wait, maybe you notice when the candle momentum, in the sense that this is the 1 hour candle. Maybe when it's up to like 45 minutes and you're seeing that this candle have already passed above this, you can just place your entry, stop loss. This one now, the neckline is actually the head is actually close to that point, so you make use of this low, right? And then look for where the swing high. Now this particular swing high is giving us 1:3.3. So this is a good trade. This is a good swing. I love to see longer swings, so we can aim for longer positions. So, and then the next zone is this. What are we seeing on this zone? We are seeing a double bottom formation here, right? The moment it's touching that point. So you might say, no, that's not what we saw first. We saw this head and inverse head and shoulder. Okay, yes, we saw it. But where is the neckline? The neckline is here. See the neckline here. You notice the market did not come to cross the neckline before it came back down and did all this consolidation below here. They now form double bottom. So that's why I'm saying we'll just use the double bottom, right? So what then are we to do? You mark your neckline. We know this point is our neckline, right? And then we have to use the same model for entry, the same model. So when are we to get an entry? The moment we see break, are we entering the moment it's tapping on it? No, you wait for what? The candle that closed with the body above the bullish candle that formed. So this other candle closed above it, so we'll get our entry where? We'll get our entry here, and then our stop loss will be where will your stop loss be? So we'll use this swing low here. This is just a candle, right? This is just a candle, so we are using this swing low. Though this one, our SL might be quite longer, but if your account isn't that strong enough to handle this, please ignore it. Do what? Ignore it. The next swing high, right? Just ignore it. You don't need to force it, right? You might say, okay, why did we not use this point since here is the swing high? The previous ones we are using them. Why are you not using it? It's because before this market retested on this point, it broke this high. So it's just price action. Just I'm just using my intuition, my just common sense to just tell myself that, okay, since this one is a new high that formed before the pullback, I'll just use here instead of using here, right? That's why. So yeah, that's why. So after that, I'll just mark this point. So this will just be my my TP level for this particular trade. So if your account can't carry this type of large SL, please don't even trade it. Just allow it, right? You won't trade every pair, every move, right? Are we seeing another zone? Are we seeing any push on a zone? So here we are seeing what we are seeing here. Maybe not really that clear here. This internal move here, You might see, it might not, you can call this double bottom if you want, since the neckline will still be the same point, or you can call it head and shoulder, but you're on 30 minutes you see this clearly. So market came back down, went up, went below here, went up, bounced here, went up, it tested on the neckline, then went up. So you can still call this, marking this from here to here, let's see, here to here perfectly well. So this is our neckline, this point, the same concept for entry. The candle that broke the first bullish candle, this closed above it. SL, look for this one below here, then place your SL here. What are we looking for? At least what? 1:2. So this high did not give us up to 1:2, it's giving us 1:1 approximately. So we are aiming at 1:2. We'll adjust this before take it to 1:2, and that was how we got this good move, 1:2 to that point. So the next zone we are seeing here, now you will say, okay, this market came back, it pulled back on this zone. Yes, actually, but the market did not break our neckline, so we are not in this market. So the next point that we saw market giving us reversal chart pattern, it was this next zone. It gave us what? It gave us a sweet inverse head and shoulder, a sweet one. That this is very nice. So it gave us this, went up, came back below here, went up, it came back, in second shoulder, went up, it came back, we tested, and then zoom off. So this actually gave us a good neck. See the neckline here, this high. So this high is the one we're using, this high. So how are we to get our entry? Let me take this out. How are we to get our entry? After the break of this high with body of the candle, market coming back, see the first bullish candle, the bullish candle that broke above it, see the candle that broke above this one. So 45 minutes into the candle, and then since it's on 1 hour, look for this next low, this reasonable point here. Right, just use your initiative to know, okay, where will I put myself, where can my account carry it, and then you anticipate where the next swing high. Because if you make use of trend line coming back down like this, now if you take note, see how I'm making use of my trend line, right? I maybe subsequent videos I can just do some videos, I will tell you guys how I make use of trend line, but yeah, for this is just how I'm using it. Right, so please, I'm trying to explain this thing at the simplest form I can, so you guys will understand what it is. If you notice, I'm not trying to force it, it's just coming and playing out. So this market, the only reason we'll know, or when we'll know that this market have changed its trend, don't forget what I showed you guys. Let me see if it also allow us come. Okay, don't forget what I showed you guys, early. So this one now maybe it's going up, and we want to know that, okay, this market is done with, it wants to start coming down. Wait for this bounce. We'll first of all wait for the change of character first here, and then we'll wait for, after this pullback, wait for the next break of this point. The pullback of that point now is where we'll now start looking for sell, which is on this level. That's when we'll know that, okay, sellers have entered the market, not from here, because the market might come here like this, bounce, and then it will make a little manipulation here like this. It's also as if you want to start coming down, then it will push back up, right? So we want to see the second break of that point. Please watch these videos again and again and again to get every single thing I'm saying, right? Just watch it again and again, and I believe you actually enjoy it, and something that you will love, right? So if you notice, this market came down to this next zone. So what are we waiting for? This next zone for us to see a buy. For us to see a buy, this market on this zone, it formed this, it's like this. So we would want to see this market going up. That is if the market will want to go up. We want to see this market going up, forming the second shoulder, coming up and breaking this neckline, and then bouncing on it, and then we want to see a shoot up. As simple as that. Want to say shoot up, like, right? As simple as that. That is if the market chooses to break above this point, right? So let's check how many trades we got, and I use the same. You can go check it and say, if you see, okay, maybe you notice that I jumped something, or I tried to adjust something to enter to fit in. You can then tell, you can put it on the comment section to be like, no, this trade was not supposed to be, why, how did it go? I was using the simplest form to explain it to you guys. Like I told you, if your SL is too big and you notice that it's too big, your account can't carry it, please just leave it. You don't need to trade it, please. If your account can carry it, please wait for the setup that your account can carry. Right, wait for the setup. You need proper risk management even as you are trying to trade this, right? So we got one trade here, this one played out. We got another good one, issue 2 here, it played out. We got another one here, it played out. We got another one here, issue 3, it played out. We got another one here with stop loss was very wide for people to be still played out. We got another one here, we got another one here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trades for this all push to that high. All went well. So if you maybe you did not take this one, it's 6 trades and all went well. It might not always be like this. Sometimes you might hit yourself. It's part of the game, right? But just make sure whenever you hit a stop loss, you find out what happened. What did I do wrong? Sometimes you might not be wrong, but sometimes again you might be wrong because you are trying to learn and there are certain things you might ignore. Now this is just all you just need. So you can use this same model. I'll do more videos on this explaining certain trades we might take in the next future using the same concept. Not until when maybe I'll do a new series or a new series on maybe another concept of getting entries that you can still implement using this same system of marking your zones, and then I'll still show you guys how to make use of them too. But for now you can stick to this, and this can give you the profit you want and the consistency. Please, simplicity in forex is what really gives you money, right? And not complicating things. If you can reduce how you like to complicate things, you will help yourself a lot. So now so what did I say? I will show you guys. I'll give you guys the checklist that you need to focus on, right? If you notice, the first thing we did when I came here, I found out I checked for what the trend of the market, right? If you're following me, you see I checked for the trend. The second thing I checked for was what? After checking for the trend, I went to mark what? I went to mark my zones. After marking my zones, what was the next thing I did? The next thing I did, I waited for what? For pullbacks. After waiting for pullbacks, what was the next thing I did? The next thing I did, I waited for a reversal chart pattern. For this one, since it's a bullish trend, we waited for either double bottom or inverse head and shoulder. So we waited for reversal chart patterns, right, on the 1 hour. This trend now, we used our daily, right? We used D1 or 8 hours. You can use D1. You can use either D1 or 8 hours or even weekly, depending on how you're trading. You just need to make use of all 8 hours. Just make sure that you practice with it to understand it. Your zone 2 is on the D1, right? Or even still 8 hours. Then pull back. We look for pullback on what? 1 hour. I'm just giving you guys this checklist. You can use it for yourself, and you look for what chart pattern on reversal chart pattern on what? On reversal chart patterns on the 1 hour. The 1 hour time frame, right? These things I'm writing here is just the time frames, right? Please don't confuse yourself. And then the next thing, we'll now wait for the breakout and retest. The next thing, the fifth, after looking for the reversal chart pattern, wait for the breakout and the retest on the neckline, right? Break out and retest on the what? On the neckline, right? On the neckline. So these are your checklist. Why you call this checklist? These are things that you check out for before placing any trade. If you have not checked out for this stuff, please, this breakout and retest is still on the what? 1 hour. Please, you can screenshot this, write it out somewhere, and then make use of it, right? If you can stick to this consistently, I bet you improve your trading, right? You improve it. Trading is not supposed to be hard, right? We try to complicate a lot of stuff. That's the reason why we're being complicated. Oh man, right? So I believe with all this, you can actually make use of this, right? And drop your comments, right? After watching these videos and practicing it, drop your comment. Do well to subscribe to the channel, because after this first set of videos, this bootcamp we're done with, I'll be giving you guys practical trades using every single thing you guys have learned to just show you guys how we got simple trades entries, right? So yeah, till when next we meet, right? I continue to remain a fair and forever earning, right? Take care, right? And God bless.